My name is Lena Parker. I'm 33. At 7:42 p.m. on our 8th wedding anniversary, with 47 guests watching us cut a 3-tier vanilla cake, my sister-in-law Claire stood up, tapped her champagne glass exactly 4 times, and said loud enough for everyone to hear, "Before we celebrate this perfect marriage, everyone should know, your perfect wife has been having an affair." The room went silent. I mean the kind of silence where you can hear ice melting in glasses. My hand was still on the cake knife. Ryan's hand was on top of mine. His grip tightened so hard I felt my knuckle crack. "Claire, what the hell are you talking about?" Ryan's voice was low, dangerous. She smiled, actually smiled. "Ask her about the messages. Ask her about the hotel receipts. Ask her about Marcus." I didn't know anyone named Marcus. I'd never been to a hotel without Ryan in 8 years. But Claire's eyes were shining with something that looked like victory, and I realized with a sick drop in my stomach that she'd been planning this. The timing, the audience, the cake-cutting moment when everyone's phones were out taking photos. "That's not true," I said. My voice sounded hollow even to my own ears. "Show them your phone then," Claire said sweetly. "Show everyone the messages." Before I go on, if stories about standing up for yourself mean something to you, please hit like and subscribe and tell me in the comments where you're watching from right now and what time is it there. Ryan was already pulling his phone from his pocket. "What messages, Claire?" "The ones I forwarded to you this morning. Check your email." I watched my husband's face as he scrolled, watched the color drain from his cheeks, watched his jaw tighten. He looked at me like I was a stranger. "Ryan, I don't know what she sent you, but these are from your number," he said quietly. "Your email address, photos of you, messages about meeting someone named Marcus at the Riverside Hotel." "I've never sent those. I've never been—" "Ryan, look at me." But he wasn't looking at me anymore. He was looking at his sister. "When did you get these?" 2 days ago, Claire said. "I've been trying to find the right time to tell you. I thought you deserved to know before you wasted another year on someone who doesn't respect you." Ryan's mother, Patricia, stood up from her seat. "Lena, is this true?" "No, I don't know what Claire's talking about. I've never cheated on Ryan. I've never—" "Then explain the messages," Claire interrupted. "Explain the photos. Explain why you've been so distant lately, so secretive." I had been distant, but not because of an affair. 3 weeks ago, I'd noticed something wrong with the family business account. The one Ryan's dad had left him and Claire when he died. I'd been reviewing the monthly statements like I always did, and there was $83,000 missing, transferred out in chunks over 6 months. When I'd confronted Claire about it, since she managed the account, she'd laughed and said I was confused, that I didn't understand business accounting. But I did understand. I'd taken 2 years of bookkeeping courses. I knew what embezzlement looked like. And now, standing in our living room, with champagne glasses, sweating rings into our coffee table and Ryan's Aunt Linda filming this on her phone, I understood what desperation looked like, too. Claire had found out I knew, somehow, and she'd created this elaborate lie, to discredit me before I could expose her. "I want to see the messages," I said. "You sent them," Claire said. "You should know what they say." "Show me." Ryan thrust his phone at me. I scrolled through the email. Screenshots of text messages. Intimate. Explicit. Signed with my name. Photos of a woman in a hotel room. The angle was wrong, the lighting was off, but it could have been me. The metadata said they were taken 4 days ago. 4 days ago, I'd been at a family barbecue. With Ryan, with Claire, with all these witnesses who were now staring at me like I'd committed murder. "These aren't from me," I said. "Then who sent them?" Patricia's voice was ice. "I don't know, but they're not real." "They came from your phone number," Claire said. She was enjoying this. I could see it in the way she stood. Weight shifted slightly back, arms crossed, head tilted just enough to look sympathetic. "I know this is hard to hear, Ryan. I know you love her, but you deserve better than someone who treats you like this." Ryan wasn't looking at me. He was looking at the floor. His hands were shaking. "Get out." he said quietly. Ryan, get out. I looked around the room. 47 people. Not one of them was meeting my eyes. Not Ryan's best friend Marcus. Oh God, that's where she got the name. Not Ryan's mother. Not even Jamie, my supposed best friend who was standing by the kitchen door with her hand over her mouth. I didn't do this, I said one more time. Lena. It was Claire's voice, soft and sympathetic. I think it's best if you go. Give Ryan some space to process. I set the cake knife down. My hands were shaking so badly I nearly dropped it. I walked through the living room, through the hallway where our wedding photos hung in chronological order, through the front door into the November cold. I was still wearing the emerald dress Ryan had bought me for tonight. My anniversary present was sitting wrapped on the kitchen counter. A leather-bound journal with his initials embossed on the cover, because he'd mentioned wanting to start writing again. I'd spent 3 weeks picking it out. I sat in my car in the driveway for 11 minutes. I counted, watched the house through the windshield, watched the curtains move, watched someone, Linda probably, post something on social media because my phone started buzzing with notifications. Then I drove to my mother's house. Let me take you back 8 years to the night I met Ryan. I was 25, working as a temp at an accounting firm, trying to save enough to finish my degree. He was 28, just taken over his father's construction company, looking lost at a networking event he didn't want to attend. We bonded over bad catering and worse small talk. He told me about his dad dying 6 months earlier. I told him about growing up with a single mom who worked 3 jobs. He said, "You're the first person who hasn't tried to fix me tonight." I said, "You're the first person who hasn't asked me what I'm going to do with my life." 3 months later, he proposed. His mother cried, not happy tears. She thought it was too fast, that I wasn't their kind of people. Claire had been worse. At our engagement dinner, she'd leaned across the table and whispered, "You know this won't last, right? Girls like you don't keep boys like him." But we'd lasted. 8 years. We'd built a life. Bought the house on Maple Street, with the white shutters and the garden I'd planted myself. We'd talked about kids, about growing old together, about all the mundane, beautiful things that make up a marriage. And now it was over. Because of a lie. Because Claire needed to protect herself. My mother opened the door at 9:17 p.m. She took one look at my face and said, "Come in, baby." I told her everything. The missing money, the accusation, the messages I'd never sent. She listened without interrupting, which is how I knew it was bad. My mother always had opinions. Silence meant she was choosing her words carefully. "Do you have proof?" she finally asked. "About the money?" "Bank statements, transaction records. But Claire manages the account. She can say I'm misreading them." "And the messages?" "I don't know how she did it. But they're not from me." My mother was quiet for a long time. Then she said, "You need a lawyer. And you need to stop talking to anyone in that family until you have one." I slept in my childhood bedroom that night. Or tried to. Mostly I stared at the ceiling and listened to my phone buzz with messages I didn't read. The next morning, I went to work. I say work loosely. I'd been helping Ryan with the business accounts part-time while finishing my degree online. But that morning, I went to the coffee shop where I'd picked up shifts when we needed extra money, and I asked Marcus, different Marcus, the manager, if he needed help. "I thought you were doing Ryan's books," he said. "Not anymore." He didn't ask questions, just handed me an apron. I spent the next 3 days making lattes and avoiding my phone. Ryan called 14 times. His mother called twice. Claire called once. I almost answered that one, just to hear what she'd say. But I didn't. Jamie came in on the 4th day. She ordered a vanilla latte and waited until I handed it to her before saying, "You should have told me you were leaving him." "I'm not leaving him. He kicked me out." "Because you cheated." "I didn't cheat, Jamie." She looked at me for a long time. "Everyone saw the messages, Lena. Everyone saw screenshots. Not the same thing. Ryan believes it. Ryan didn't ask me. He just believed his sister. Jamie's face did something complicated. Claire's been through a lot, losing her dad, managing the business alone. She's not managing it alone, she's stealing from it. The words were out before I could stop them. Jamie's eyes widened. What? Nothing. Forget I said anything. But she was already backing away, latte in hand. I have to go. She was gone before I could explain. I found out later she went straight to Patricia and told her I was making wild accusations about Claire. By that evening, half the family had called my mother's house to say I was trying to deflect blame. No one asked to see the bank statements. That night, I sat in my childhood bedroom and did something I should have done immediately. I called my bank and asked for my account login history. The customer service rep put me on hold for 6 minutes. When she came back, her voice was different. Careful. Ms. Parker, I'm showing multiple login attempts from an IP address that doesn't match your usual devices. The logins were successful on November 8th at 2:14 a.m. and November 9th at 3:47 a.m., November 8th and 9th, 2 days before the anniversary party, right after I'd confronted Claire about the missing money. Can you trace the IP address? I asked. I can't give you that information directly, but I can flag these as suspicious and generate a security report. We recommend you file a police report for potential identity theft. I filed the report the next morning. The officer, Detective Sarah Chen, listened to everything: the missing business money, the fake affair accusation, the hacked accounts. She took notes, asked questions, looked at me like she actually believed me. Do you have access to the business account records? She asked. I have statements through last month. Claire locked me out after I asked about the discrepancies. And the messages your husband received? I've never seen the originals, just screenshots on his phone. Detective Chen nodded slowly. Here's what we're going to do. I'll submit a request for your email and phone records. We'll need to prove those messages didn't come from your actual devices. In the meantime, don't contact your husband or his family. Don't talk about this case with anyone except your lawyer. I don't have a lawyer. She wrote something on the back of her card and handed it to me. Call this number. Tell them I sent you. She specializes in fraud cases. The lawyer's name was Rebecca Torres. Her office was in a converted brownstone on Northwest 23rd Avenue, all exposed brick and tall windows. She was 40-something, sharp-eyed, wearing a gray suit that probably cost more than my car. I told her everything. Showed her the bank statements, the security report, the screenshots Ryan had shown me. She listened without interrupting. When I finished, she leaned back in her chair and said, "Your sister-in-law is smart. She knew you'd need evidence to fight back, so she made sure any evidence would make you look guilty. So what do I do? We prove she hacked you. We prove she stole from the business. And we do it in a way that's irrefutable." How? Rebecca smiled. It wasn't a nice smile. We let her think she's won, and we prepare. Over the next 6 weeks, I lived a strange double life. During the day, I worked at the coffee shop, made drinks, smiled at customers, pretended my life wasn't falling apart. At night, I sat in Rebecca's office and built a case. We requested my phone records. They showed no outgoing messages to Marcus on the dates in question. We requested my email logs. They showed the login times from the unfamiliar IP address. We hired a digital forensics expert who confirmed the intimate photos had been edited, my face superimposed on someone else's body. Rebecca filed subpoenas for the business account records. Claire's lawyer tried to block them. That was when I knew we'd hit something real. Ryan called me during the second week. I didn't answer. He left a voicemail. "Lena, I don't know what to think anymore. My mother says you're making accusations against Claire now, that you're trying to shift blame. But I keep thinking about that night, how surprised you looked, how you kept saying you didn't do it." A long pause. "I need time to figure this out. Don't call me. Please." I deleted the message. The public humiliation came in the third week. I was working the afternoon shift at the coffee shop when Claire walked in with Patricia and Ryan's Aunt Linda. They sat at a table in the front window, ordered 3 cappuccinos, started talking just loud enough for me to hear. I still can't believe she showed her face at the party, Patricia said. The audacity. She's always been shameless, Claire said. Remember how she trapped Ryan with the pregnancy scare? There had never been a pregnancy scare. But Linda nodded like she remembered. Poor Ryan, Patricia continued. He gave her everything, and this is how she repays him. I was making their drinks with hands that wanted to shake, but didn't. Something had shifted inside me that day Ryan kicked me out. Some fundamental understanding of who I was and what I was willing to accept. I'd spent 8 years trying to be enough for his family. Enough education, enough grace, enough silence when they made their little comments about my background. I was done being enough. I walked over to their table, set down the cappuccinos with steady hands. Claire looked up at me with those bright, victorious eyes. Anything else I can get you? I asked. No, thank you, Patricia said coldly. I smiled. Not a big smile. Just enough. Enjoy your drinks. As I walked away, I heard Linda whisper, She doesn't even seem sorry. Marcus, the manager, was watching from behind the counter. When I got back, he said quietly, You okay? Better than they think. He studied my face. Good. That night, Rebecca called. The forensics came back. We can prove the photos were edited. We can prove the emails were sent from a device that's not yours. And we can prove $83,400 was transferred from the business account to an offshore account registered to a shell company. Can we prove Claire did it? We requested the security logs from the business account platform. Guess whose laptop the transfers came from? I closed my eyes. Claire's. Claire's. Registered to her home IP address, made at 3:17 a.m. on dates she was supposedly at home sleeping. But here's the beautiful part. She used the same laptop to access your email. Same IP. Same device ID. Same everything. So we have her. We have her. But we need to present this correctly. If we just send it to Ryan, Claire will say we fabricated it. We need witnesses. We need her to implicate herself. How? Rebecca was quiet for a moment. When's your next family gathering? I laughed. It came out bitter. I'm not invited to family gatherings anymore. Your anniversary is coming up again, 1 year since the accusation. What if you threw your own party? Rebecca, they hate me. No one would come. They don't need to come. Ryan just needs to come. And I'm betting if you send him an invitation, a real one, formal, asking him to hear you out one more time, he'll show up. He's still legally your husband, and from that voicemail, he's having doubts. And if he shows up, we show him everything, all of it. In front of witnesses he can't deny, family, if possible. People Claire can't manipulate afterward. It was a terrible plan. It was also the only plan we had. I sent the invitation 3 weeks later, handwritten on cream cardstock, delivered to Ryan's office, not the house. Ryan, I know you don't believe me. I know what it looks like, but I'm asking you for 1 hour. Come to our house, Ryan, the one we bought together, on November 15th at 7 p.m. I have something to show you, something that explains everything. If after you see it, you still want a divorce, I won't fight you. Lena. He didn't respond. But on November 14th, I got a text from a number I didn't recognize. I'll be there. R. Rebecca and I prepared. We copied every document, every security log, every forensic report. We created a presentation. Simple, clear, irrefutable. We practiced what I'd say, how I'd say it. Rebecca insisted I keep it under 100 words. You're not prosecuting, she said. You're presenting facts. Let the facts speak. On November 15th at 6:30 p.m., I stood in the living room of the house Ryan and I had bought together and waited. The same living room where Claire had destroyed my marriage exactly 1 year ago. I'd set up a laptop connected to the TV. The documents were loaded, ready. Ryan arrived at 6:58 p.m. He looked thinner, tired. He stood in the doorway like he wasn't sure he was allowed inside. "Come in," I said. He did, slowly, looking around like he was seeing the place for the first time. "You've been keeping it up." "It's my home." He flinched. "Lena, just sit down, please. Watch the screen." He sat. I pressed play. The first slide was the bank statement from the business account, the one showing $83,400 missing. I let him look at it for 30 seconds. "I found this a year ago," I said. 3 weeks before our anniversary." Next slide, the transfer records, Claire's name, the offshore account. I confronted Claire, asked her about it. She said I was confused. Next slide, the security report from my bank, the login times, the unfamiliar IP address. 2 days later, someone hacked my email and phone, created fake messages, edited photos. Next slide, the forensic report, the edited images, the fabricated emails. Ryan's face had gone white. Next slide, the IP address trace, Claire's laptop, her home address, timestamps matching both the business transfers and my account hacks. "It was all her," I said. "She stole from the business. I found out. She framed me to discredit me before I could expose her." The last slide was the detective's report. Official, documented, impossible to deny. Ryan stared at the screen, didn't move, didn't speak. "I didn't cheat on you," I said quietly. "I've never cheated on you. I loved you. I still—" My voice cracked. I stopped. Ryan's hands were shaking. "She said you were making accusations, that you were trying to deflect. My mother said—" "Your mother believed Claire. Everyone believed Claire. No one asked to see proof. No one asked me for my side. I saw the messages. You saw screenshots. Did you ever see the actual messages on my phone? Did you check my email yourself, or did you just trust Claire?" He closed his eyes. Oh, God. We sat in silence. On the TV, the evidence stared back at us. Undeniable. "I'm sorry," Ryan finally said. His voice was broken. "Lena, I'm so sorry. I know. I should have trusted you. I should have asked. You should have believed your wife over your sister." He looked at me then, really looked at me. "What do we do now?" "Now? We make sure Claire can't do this to anyone else." The next day, Ryan called a family meeting, mandatory. Everyone had to come. His mother, his aunts and uncles, Claire, Linda with her phone. Everyone who'd witnessed my humiliation. They met at Patricia's house, the big colonial on Hawthorne Street with the iron gate. I wasn't invited, but Rebecca was there, as Ryan's lawyer and mine. Rebecca told me later what happened, how Ryan set up the same presentation on Patricia's TV, how the family filed in, confused, annoyed at being summoned, how Claire arrived last, confident, smiling. "What's this about, Ryan?" Patricia had asked. "It's about the truth," Ryan said. And he pressed play. The room watched in silence, every slide, every piece of evidence. When it ended, Ryan turned to Claire. "Anything you want to say?" Claire's face had drained of color. "This is fake. Lena made this up. She's trying to—" "It's from the police," Ryan said. "Detective Sarah Chen. She's been investigating for 3 months. The IP addresses are real. The forensic reports are certified. The offshore account is real." "Ryan, you can't believe this. The account is in your name, Claire. Your laptop, your IP address. What am I supposed to believe?" Patricia stood up. "There has to be an explanation. Claire would never—" "I have the transfer records, Mom. $83,000 over 6 months, while Dad was dying and we were all distracted." Claire's lawyer, she'd brought one, which told Rebecca everything, leaned over and whispered something. Claire shook her head violently. "This is insane," she said. "I'm being set up. Lena has an alibi for every single login time," Ryan said. His voice was cold now, controlled. "She was working at the coffee shop. She has time cards, witnesses, security footage. Where were you at 3:17 a.m. on July 23rd? Or August 14th? Or September 2nd? Claire opened her mouth, closed it, opened it again. I did it for you, she finally said. The room went silent. What? Ryan's voice was barely a whisper. The business was failing. Dad left it in terrible shape. We needed money to keep it going. I was trying to save it. Save your inheritance. By stealing from it? By relocating funds. I was going to pay it back. But then Lena found out. And she was going to ruin everything. She was going to tell you and you'd shut the business down, and we'd lose everything Dad built. So you framed her for cheating? Claire's eyes were wild now. She never belonged in this family anyway. You know that. Mom knows that. A temp worker? Really, Ryan? You could have done so much better. Patricia made a small sound. Claire stopped talking. But Claire couldn't stop. I did this for us, for our family, and she turned you against me with fake reports and— They're not fake, Ryan said. The police verified them. The FBI verified them. You used my wife's identity to cover your embezzlement. I had to protect you. By destroying my marriage? Claire stood up. Her chair scraped across Patricia's hardwood floor. Your marriage was a mistake from the beginning. I saved you from wasting more years on someone who doesn't understand people like us. Linda, who'd been filming again, lowered her phone. Oh, Claire. One by one, the family members stood, backed away, created distance between themselves and Claire. Patricia sat frozen, hands over her mouth. Ryan's Uncle Tom was the one who finally said it. We need to call the police. They're already coming, Rebecca said. She'd been standing in the corner, silent, letting it unfold. Detective Chen is on her way. Claire looked at Ryan, then at her mother, then at the room full of family members who were no longer meeting her eyes. This isn't over, she said. Yes, Ryan said quietly. It is. Detective Chen arrived 20 minutes later. Claire was arrested for wire fraud, identity theft, and embezzlement. Her lawyer negotiated a plea deal, 18 months in federal prison, full restitution of the stolen funds, 5 years probation. Patricia didn't visit her in jail. None of them did. Ryan and I met for coffee 2 weeks after Claire's sentencing. A neutral location. Not our house. Not anywhere with memories. I don't know if I can forgive you, I said. He looked surprised. For what? I'm the one who— You didn't ask. You saw the screenshots, and you didn't ask me. You trusted Claire's word over 8 years of marriage. I know. God, Lena, I know. I was wrong. I was scared. I get it. The messages looked real. But Ryan, you didn't even try to verify them. You just kicked me out. He was quiet for a long time. I've been thinking about that. About why I believed it so easily. And I think part of me always felt like I didn't deserve you. Like you'd wake up one day and realize you married down or something. So when Claire said you were cheating, some part of me thought, of course she is. That's the saddest thing I've ever heard. I know. We sat in silence. Outside, November rain pattered against the coffee shop window. I loved you, I finally said. Past tense. I don't know if I still do. I don't know if I can trust you again. I understand. But I think we should try counseling, see if there's anything left to save. He looked up, hope flickering in his eyes. Really? Really. But Ryan, if you ever believe someone over me again without asking, we're done. No second chances. I understand. Thank you for giving me this chance. We tried. For 3 months, we went to counseling twice a week. Talked about trust, about family, about the ways Claire had manipulated both of us, about how Patricia's favoritism had taught Ryan that love had to be earned, and how my childhood had taught me that silence was safer than conflict. We made progress. Some days felt almost normal, but there was a distance between us that counseling couldn't bridge. The trust was gone, and without trust, we were just 2 people living in the same house, being polite. We filed for divorce on Valentine's Day. Amicable, no contest. I kept the house. Ryan insisted, said it was the least he owed me. He moved into a condo downtown. 6 months later, I finished my degree. Accounting, with a minor in forensic auditing. I got a job at a mid-sized firm that specialized in fraud investigation. Turns out having helped catch an embezzler on your resume opens doors. I'm sitting in my office now. It's small, but it has a window. There's a photo on my desk, me and my mother at graduation, both of us grinning. Next to it is a small card that Rebecca sent me after the trial. It says, "The truth doesn't need you to be loud, it just needs you to be patient." Claire got out of prison last month. I heard she moved to Arizona, started over with a new name. Ryan says his mother still talks to her sometimes. I don't ask for details. Patricia apologized to me once. It was brief, stiff, clearly rehearsed. I accepted it because holding grudges takes energy I don't have anymore. But we're not friends. We'll never be friends. Ryan and I text occasionally, birthday wishes, holiday greetings. Sometimes he sends me photos of his new place. He's seeing someone, a teacher named Morgan. She seems nice. I hope she is. I hope he learned something from us. I'm not seeing anyone. I might not for a long time, but I'm okay with that. I spent 8 years trying to be someone's wife, someone's daughter-in-law, someone's target. Now I'm just Lena, and that's enough. If you're watching this and someone's ever tried to destroy your reputation to hide their own crimes, type, "I fought back" in the comments. Or if you had to walk away from people you loved because they chose the lie over you, type, "I chose myself." Both are brave, both are valid. If this story meant something to you, check the description for more stories just like this one. Thank you for being here.